Hey there, Max here, and today we're going to be watching a Karl Jobst video. It's been a while since I've actually seen one of his. The last time it was the cheating scandal that was going on in the squad video, and now we're going to be picking up with whatever this is. It is Australia's most dishonest company needs to be stopped. Now, some of my favorite videos was about Earth 2 and these scam website games that just were horrible. And it was fun to watch them getting dunked on. This one, I am very curious what this is. This deep cycle systems thing I'm looking at. It looks like they're selling a Bluetooth battery type thing for engine starting. For engine start. That's an actual car battery? Okay, I'm very curious where this is going to be going with here. So let's go ahead and get this going and see what Karl is going to be saying here. I'll leave a link to the original in the description. If you enjoy, please leave a like. If not, leave a dislike. If there's anything you want to comment on, or if there's anything that you want me to react towards, please leave it in the comments. And please do subscribe to help build up my channel and to follow along with everything I post. Let's go ahead and get this going here. Karl, show us what's going on.
Hello, you absolute legends.
Hey!
This is Stefan Fischer. He runs a small YouTube channel called All Off-Road 4x4, which is dedicated to his passion of exploring and appreciating the beautiful country of Australia.
Ooh, that's a very lovely view.
In August of 2023, he released a video review titled DCS Lithium Under Bonnet Update. It was a very cordial video, where he simply explained that the lithium batteries he had installed under the bonnet of his Land Cruiser had lost a large chunk of their capacity very quickly, and that he was going to switch back to a lead-acid battery configuration he'd
Let me take a wild guess. The company took some umbrage at this.
used previously. The company that had provided him the batteries was a company called Deep Cycle Systems, a company that sells lithium batteries for a number of different applications, and it's a
Why do you have Bluetooth on a battery?
company that's pretty close to where I live in Brisbane, Australia. In fact, it's only a 30-minute drive from my house. After Stefan released his
The only thing I could think of is like being able to monitor the charge level or something from your phone, but that's the only thing I could think of.
video stating that he would no longer be using DCS batteries under his bonnet, he received a ton of messages from other users of DCS batteries that had similar experiences. This prompted
Ooh.
Stefan to make another video in December of 2023, outlining the terrible experiences other people had had with their DCS batteries and also exposing some of the company's dishonest practices which he had recently learned. DCS didn't like this.
Oh, so this is gonna turn into a full-on expose. Oh, and like I said, DCS didn't like this. Let me guess, they struck a channel or something?
And in May of 2024, DCS sued Stefan for defamation.
Worse, full-on lawsuit.
DCS claimed that Stefan was a vindictive liar who was intentionally trying to defame DCS because they refused to give him free products. But this appeared to be a complete fabrication, and it was obvious to me from watching Stefan's videos that they were merely honest opinions. In my opinion, the lawsuit
I mean, if they've got a tester, like, what are you gonna do?
it was meritless, and thankfully it didn't even make it to trial. In March of 2025, it was thrown out by a judge as it was determined that DCS couldn't legally sue anyone for defamation because they are a company. And in Australia, a company cannot sue for defamation unless they meet certain requirements,
Ooh, really? I actually like the sound of that law.
which DCS does not fulfill. But even though DCS's lawsuit didn't make it all the way to trial, the actions of DCS still forced Stefan to pay legal fees of well over $100,000.
Oh, ew! Okay, then that's probably all they wanted. They wanted to hurt the guy.
The community chipped in and were able to fund some of Stefan's defense. In his decision, the judge noted that the owner of the company, Mr. Paul Tomolowitz, was an untrustworthy person, having admitted to lying many times and didn't even seem to really care that he did. Naturally, for obvious reasons, I have developed an interest in defamation lawsuits.
As we've seen a few.
So when I found out that this defamation lawsuit just so happened to be in my own hometown, I was extremely interested.
Oh, I didn't realize he was
But
Australian.
nothing prepared me for what I was about to uncover. The
Oh,
more
this
I
should be
looked
good.
into Deep Cycle Systems, the more I came to realize they are legitimately one of the most dishonest and scummy companies I have ever seen.
And that's saying something, considering Karl Jobst's videos.
I really do believe that this company is a danger to society, and you will not believe just how low this company will stoop to try and stop the public from knowing what's really going on.
Careful, Carl. Considering the problems you've had before, you might end up getting another one on your belt. Ugh.
I assure you, this rabbit hole goes deep, and you won't believe the types of shady practices this company has been up to. And I wish the mere fact that DCS lost their lawsuit against an innocent YouTuber was where the story ended. But unfortunately, this is not the case. Given that DCS lost their lawsuit, as per Australian law, they are required to pay the prevailing party's legal fees. In fact, the court has already ordered DCS to pay Stefan $130,000.
So wait, how in the world did they try to switch this up and make him pay him?
But in true DCS fashion, they are refusing to pay.
There you
despite
go.
The fact that according to their company financials, they have millions of dollars in assets. To make matters worse, Stefan's daughter was recently diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, that's unfortunate for CCS. Oh, you picked the worst target you could possibly go for. An Australian YouTuber with a very strong backing, enough to pay them quite a bit of money to cover the costs that you're trying to force on them, and his daughter has cancer. You are screwed. You do not win this no matter what, DCS.
And the financial strain and stress of this devastating situation has made it very difficult for Stefan to do what needs to be done to get the money he is entitled to and for justice to be served. And this is where he needs our help. In today's video, we will take a look at one of the most insane companies I've ever seen, and how you can help Stefan and his family hold DCS accountable so that he can properly support his daughter. Please watch to the end because this is a very important video and a very worthwhile cause.
Here's hoping.
Now, legends, I'm going to tell you a true story. Back around 2011,
Are we about to hit an ad?
around 15 years ago, I was working a job that I really hated and it didn't earn much money. So I started looking into get-rich-quick schemes because I wanted to be rich.
This is going to turn into an ad, isn't it?
And one of those was Forex day trading. And I thought I was so smart, and I thought I had it all figured out, so I took all of my money, leveraged it to the max, and needless to say, I lost it all instantly.
Okay, if this is some sort of a financial advisor ad, I am going to skip this so hard.
It was a very painful and difficult lesson to learn. And ever since that day, I told myself I would never gamble again, I would never speculate again, and if I wanted to make a lot of money, I had to learn a skill and give real value back to society. And it is for that reason that I really appreciate today's sponsor, Boot.dev. Boot.dev is a platform that teaches you how to...
Okay, it's not a financial scam here, but Boot.dev, I've seen a few ads for them, so we'll let it run for Karl.
code. So if you've ever considered being a software developer which allows you to make very decent money, this is where you need to go. Boot.dev is simply the best because it makes learning...
I have my doubts a little bit, but hey, it's a start.
Programming is interesting and engaging as it can possibly be. Boot.dev turns programming into a game, where you can earn XP, gain levels, and complete quests. There are a ton of courses covering a bunch of different languages, and you'll even get your own personal tutor called Boots. Honestly, from my experience at university, I think Boots is better than a real teacher. So if
To be fair, you're getting paid to say that.
you want a career in programming or just want to learn for fun, click my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen and use code Jobst for 25% off your entire first year on an annual plan. There is even a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee, so there really is no reason not to at least try them out.
I give the ad 6 out of 10. It was kind of dragged on, wasn't something I was really interested in, and yeah, this wasn't my thing on that one here. I've seen worse, I've seen better.
First, let me set the stage and give some context as to who Deep Cycle Systems is and what they do. Primarily, DCS sells lithium batteries. According to their About section on their website,
I'm already a little finicky about lithium batteries in cars, of all things, but I guess it works,
they specialize in the design and manufacture of cutting-edge lithium battery technologies. On their Instagram page, they claim they are a lithium battery manufacturer, and on their website, they claim that their batteries are manufactured at their factory in SCUMMERY, Queensland. Even in their recent defamation lawsuit, their lawyer claimed that DCS manufactures batteries. However, the truth is that they don't manufacture anything.
Oh, really?
What they actually do is import very cheap Chinese products, slap their name on them, and resell them with an astronomical markup.
That should be criminal. That's like false advertising on a massive scale.
The YouTube channel DIY Solar Power with Will Prowse reviewed one of DCS's batteries and said as much.
Now the build quality is not very impressive. First off, we have globs of solder, And this wire is damaged. It shouldn't be bent like this. This needs to be protected. This could cause a short circuit. And it's very close to this conductor right here, and this could cause a short. And this glue job is a joke. Like, what are you guys thinking? This is what you see on a budget battery, not an expensive battery or something made to start an engine. Compared to the competition, I don't know why anyone would buy these. This is just a run-of-the-mill Chinese battery. All these companies in America and Australia...
That is just a cold review.
Oh, yeah, they're just slapping stickers. Of course, they have an engineering team, and they go to China, and they figure out what they need, but it's all made in China. It's still made in China. They get the parts from China.
The reality is that Australia doesn't really manufacture lithium batteries. The vast majority of the world's supply is manufactured in China and East Asia. Manufacturing a battery, or electronics in general, requires huge dedicated factories with millions of dollars worth of machinery and many employees.
After all, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Deep Cycle Systems, and I assure you this is not a joke, was run out of a shed at the owner's house.
Yeah, that makes me very curious how the heck he gets away with being able to claim this. If he's got... How does he claim that he's manufacturing these things out of a basement or out of a shed? It doesn't make any sense to me.
The lawyer for DCS stated during a hearing that, in sum, Your Honor, the plaintiff is a small business run out of Mr. Tomolowitz's shed at his residential property. According to the company's balance sheet, which was shown as evidence during the lawsuit, DCS owned a grand total of $350,000 worth of assets in plant and equipment, 50% of the value of those assets being a boat, which, if you didn't know anything about the
Okay, a boat. Gee, I betcha that has absolutely nothing to do with the manufacturing.
manufacture of electronics or batteries just isn't enough to do anything. And this is what's so ironic about the DCS defamation lawsuit against the YouTuber Stefan Fischer. In Australia, a company cannot sue for defamation unless it has less than 10 employees and is not associated with any other companies. But for the past 10 years, the owner of DCS, Paul Tomolowicz, had been lying constantly about how massive his company is. For example, he claimed that DCS co-owned a manufacturing facility in China, which employed many workers.
Co-owned? How the heck do you pull that?
And he even built a European website where he claimed to have branches in many countries with a headquarters and warehouse in Belgium. So Paul was in a bit of
Press X to doubt?
a catch-22. On one hand, he wants the public to believe DCS is a world-leading manufacturer of batteries, but on the other hand, if that were true, he couldn't sue for defamation because his company would be too large.
Okay.
So during the
Anybody who is trying to run a scam like this, number one rule, don't bring attention to how horrible your stuff is. So if you are going to sue somebody who's rating your stuff horribly bad, guess what that does? Massive attention. You should have just shut up and kept moving about your day, and you could have gone through with this without anybody discovering anything. But you are the one who brought this lawsuit upon him, and everything is now blowing up in your face.
hearing where he had to prove his company was small, he had to admit that everything he had previously claimed was completely false, including the fact that his batteries were manufactured in China and he was merely buying them from a supplier.
And you reply to Tim Day, our electronics are manufactured in Europe. Our 48V batteries are assembled in Australia. Our 12-volt batteries are assembled at our factory in Shenzhen, China.
Yep, so again, our supplier's factory.
You represent to the public that DCS has a factory in China, in Shenzhen. You wrote that.
That our batteries at one time were manufactured in China.
Our factory.
Yeah, but we don't own it. So again, in reference to our supplier.
Not that Paul really needed to admit this, however.
Oh, you dirty, dirty, dirty scumbag. I do not like this guy, one bit.
As it was already confirmed. Paul is such a moron that in a picture of the inside of a DCS battery that he had previously sent to Stefan, he forgot to remove this sticker, which says Maxley. And Maxley is a Chinese company that manufactures batteries.
Oh, wow. Holy crap. That is so stupid.
And here is something that I found to be extremely amusing. Maxley has a social media presence, and on July 15, 2025, they posted a short to their YouTube channel, something they regularly do. But in this particular short, something very interesting was spotted. While displaying their testing facility, there appeared a fully completed DCS battery.
did! Oh
with
my
brand name
god!
and all. So aside from the obvious fact
They don't even bother putting the stickers on their side. They do literally nothing. They literally just get it from the Chinese side of things. Holy
that
crap.
Australia doesn't manufacture lithium batteries, we have multiple sources of proof they are simply imported cheaply from China, and we know the exact manufacturer. To be clear, I don't really care about where DCS batteries are made, but it's
Theory. You know what I think? Now, this is purely a speculative theory because I'm wondering how this company says to be worth over $1 million. I'm wondering if it's actually partly funded by Chinese companies in order to sell these out at all, perhaps, or maybe they are just paying. I mean, either China is funding them, or at least the factory that they are running through might be trying to make money as an intermediary in some way with them. Hard to say exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't him taking full advantage of everything. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a company in China paying him, just as some groups might try to do. But I don't like where this is going.
important to understand for context that this company is dishonest about everything, including where the batteries are manufactured. DCS batteries are also extremely expensive.
Yeah, holy crap. I mean, I could literally go get a car battery right out of Walmart for much cheaper than this stuff. Granted, they're not lithium batteries, so if I have a car that requires it to be something else, I'm screwed. But at this point, I would go for the actual cheap option.
So naturally, when a customer buys them, they expect a good quality product. But what they are actually getting is something that was purchased by DCS from China extremely cheaply. Looking at the company's profit and loss statement, which was provided as evidence during the hearing, I can see that while their gross sales are huge, usually hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, their purchases of materials and supplies are tiny. Whatever they are buying, it appears as though they are reselling them at 5 to 10 times the price, or maybe even more.
That's gotta be illegal somewhere.
This explains why the batteries are built so poorly, and why when Stefan made his video saying that he will stop using them, he received so many messages from viewers claiming that their DCS batteries were also failing. But I'm not making this video because DCS resells shitty batteries. I'm making this video because the owner and sole director of DCS, Paul Tomolowicz, is extremely dishonest, and the evil actions of his company extend far beyond simply misleading customers as to the quality of their products.
Ooh, it's gonna escalate. It's gonna escalate, isn't it?
Paul Tomolowicz is obsessed with making people believe his company is bigger than it really is. He will give himself different titles to make it seem like his company has many different employees and departments.
The sad thing is, for every one guy like this, there's like 10 other companies that run the same exact way, but they're smart enough not to make themselves known. Okay, maybe like 5 companies, but you know what I mean.
Despite being the sole owner and sole operator of the company. In emails, he signs off as sales engineer and product development. In videos, he calls himself the head of product development.
G'day guys, it's Paul here from Deep Cycle Systems.
And of course, he poses in front of a nice big fancy truck.
I'm head of product development, and I wanted to show you an awesome Nissan Patrol here that we've set up using one of our 12 volt 200 amp hour batteries.
In other videos, he does simply call himself the owner-operator. Paul will also pretend to be a customer service representative with a different name when replying to customers. For example, one customer who filed a complaint thought they were dealing with a lady by the name of Michelle Walker, but in reality, it was just Paul using ChatGPT to generate responses. This
Seriously? Well, why am I not surprised?
funny fact came up during
If you're cheap enough to actually use AI instead of getting properly responded, you're cheap enough to go get batteries from China.
the defamation lawsuit because Paul had to admit that Michelle was not a real employee.
I send those emails, so we basically use an AI-generated script, and we reply to this particular customer, clarifying some facts, and we call that particular email account Michelle.
Who is Michelle Walker?
It doesn't exist. It's a computer algorithm used through ChatGPT, and basically we drop in some key points into that. It generates a reply as if it's a human, and then we send it to the customer.
That is some of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
DCS doesn't just create fake employees either. They also appear to create fake Google reviews. Apparently they
Oh, that has got to be illegal. I could have, or is it? Yeah, that has got to be a legality issue right
They
there.
have a 3.5-star rating with mostly positive reviews, but most of them are just commentless generic 5-star ratings from obvious bots. Paul responds to all of
I
the-
guess it's hard to really tell directly for legality reasons, I'm sure. It's probably more like if the comments are all the same is when it starts getting a little more obvious for legality reasons.
negative reviews by saying they are fake, and his replies are often extremely childish. Take note of Paul's poor ability to spell in his replies, because it makes it all the more obvious when he uses ChatGPT to craft his messages. Everyone knows Google has a huge problem with fake reviews, and it doesn't seem like they do much to verify review authenticity. But there is one Australian website that does, called productreview.com.au. This is Australia's most legitimate product review website, and it has strict standards for verifying reviews. According to their website, Deep
Good on this website.
Cycle Systems has a 93% negative review rating.
Oh my god! That is nasty! 93%? I think the Cats movie had a better rating than that.
At the top of the page, Product Review have left a note saying, "We have detected a number of positive reviews for this listing, which we suspect have been falsely generated and have the potential to mislead customers."
Busted!
ProductReview.com takes a zero-tolerance approach to any fake reviews and have removed these reviews accordingly. Clearly, Product Review believes DCS was submitting fake reviews. But what's far worse is that after Product Review removed these fake reviews, DCS threatened to sue them for doing so.
Ooh. That Streisand effect is going back to bite you in every which way.
I reached out to the director of Product Review, Elmar Shah, who confirmed that after they removed DCS's fake reviews, they received numerous emails from DCS including threats of legal action. This behavior of threatening legal action over seemingly justified actions isn't uncommon. In 2017, a blog called Solar Quotes published an article claiming that DCS were making wildly exaggerated claims about how much money DCS solar batteries could save customers, saying that DCS estimates of how much money can be saved are nuts. After he was sued by DCS, Stefan reached out to Solar Quotes, who confirmed that they were threatened by DCS as well.
Wow.
DCS has a pattern of threatening to sue or suing anyone who says anything negative about their company. But
And that just puts a giant freaking target on you! Don't do this!
what's interesting is that it's not just consumers that are saying DCS batteries are terrible, it's also the Australian government. From 2019 to 2022, the company ITP Renewables, backed by a $1 million grant from the Australia Renewable Energy Agency, tested various solar
Fancy name there. Arena?
batteries
Nice.
to see how well they retain their capacity over time. And the results of their tests showed that the DCS battery performed absolutely atrociously, far worse than any other battery. And the performance of the DCS battery is shown by the steep downward green line here.
That is straight on down. Holy cow! That is literally the worst on the entire chart by a mile. What the heck?
But again, the important thing really isn't that DCS batteries are of poor quality. It's the fact that DCS will lie to the public to cover it up. In response to this report, DCS published a blog post on their website. In it, they claimed that they were invited to participate in the test and asked to provide a battery.
Let me guess, you're gonna blame the battery that you gave him.
But because they were in such high demand, they had no new batteries to spare. So instead, they sent them a well-used 4-year-old battery.
You knew they were gonna be testing these things. You knew they were gonna publicize the results. Why would you do that? That is the worst excuse ever.
And this is why it didn't perform very well compared to the other brands. This
So, you're not crooked, you're just incompetent. Is that what I'm hearing?
is one of the dumbest lies I've ever heard. And it's honestly insulting that DCS would think anyone would buy it. On its face, it makes zero sense. ITP was running an independent third-party test, which means that it didn't invite brands to take part. The entire point was to make sure companies were being honest with their claims, so they needed to ensure companies weren't directly involved, which could pollute the results. In fact, on the website for the test, they specifically claimed that in order to ensure independence, all batteries were purchased at full retail prices from third-party distributors. So DCS is just lying about the methodology of the test.
So they actually bought the battery to test. That's smart. that means they cannot be able to hide behind the saying that, hey, we gave him a bad battery, sorry. No, they straight up got a battery right from his store. That's, yeah, that you would think that would be pretty much by default, but still, some people cut corners in some areas, so I'm glad they didn't there.
In order to hide the fact that their battery performed terribly. But even in a fantasy universe where their story was true, why would a company send a 4-year-old battery to take part in a battery test? It's ridiculous on its face.
No kidding. Also, how much you want to bet it's going to be very short? He's going to be leaving Australia and heading to China for some vacation time or something.
And further, DCS is apparently claiming that ITP is lying about how they came into possession of the battery, with ITP saying they bought it at full retail price, and DCS claiming that they were asked to provide a battery and decided to provide a used one. DCS lies about everything. Even their company logo is just stolen from a different company. The DCS Corporation is a large engineering company in the US, and you will notice that their logo is exactly the same.
No! Please tell me you didn't steal the freaking logo right off of it. For crying out loud, I made my own logo!
And when
You could have made something!
and I say exactly, I mean it's literally the same logo.
Jesus
Deep
Christ.
Systems just straight up stole the logo to use for their own company. During the DCS defamation lawsuit, the lawyers for Stefan contacted the DCS Corporation regarding its logo, to which DCS stated, "At no time has DCS granted permission to Deep Cycle Systems for the use of our logo. Using the Wayback Machine, I can see that this logo was being used by DCS Corp years before Deep Cycle Systems even existed."
Wow.
This made me very intrigued, because if you look at the Deep Cycle Systems logo, it has a little TM above it, indicating that
been
DCS has
trademarked.
trademarked their logo. And I thought this had to be fake. There is no way that DCS stole a logo and then trademarked it.
Please tell me you took a look and saw if it was actually trademarked.
But to my disbelief, that's exactly what they did.
Wow.
Deep Cycle Systems has trademarked DCS Corp's logo that they stole.
Oh
And I need to make it
my
crystal
god!
clear why
How did this make it through the checks?
this is hilarious. The entire point of a trademark is to prevent other companies from using your logo. So Deep Cycle Systems stole a logo from a different company and then trademarked it because they were worried about other companies using the logo that they stole.
Oh my god, please tell me DCS Corp is gonna sue DCS Deep Cycle Systems into the ground for this.
And Paul Tomolowitz is such a compulsive liar that during the hearing, he couldn't even bring himself to admit that they were the same logo, instead only admitting that they had some similarities.
Oh, yeah, they got some similarities, I guess, yeah, maybe a little bit.
It appears that your DCS trademark is basically an exact copy of theirs.
There's some similarities for sure. Yeah.
Would you say some similarities?
Some
It's very
similarities.
similar. It's not virtually identical because there's some differences in that.
Oh, I would love to hear what you find different.
DCS also takes actions that break Australian
Well, you see, the color is black. You see, and it doesn't say corp at the end of it, so it's completely different. You see, they're just a little similar. That's all. Yes, see.
consumer laws. For example, secretly changing their product warranty page so that people think their defective batteries aren't covered under warranty. If you read the DCS warranty page,
Gee, that's like a Blizzard level stack.
it says the policy was last updated in June of 2021. This, however, is a lie. By using an Australian website archive, we can see that in March of 2023,
Never trust the dates on the actual website because those can be changed too.
the warranty stated that a battery would be deemed defective if it fails to deliver less than 80% of its rated capacity. Now, this is obviously not written correctly, as it should say that a battery is defective if it fails to deliver more than 80%, but you get the idea. And you can see that the last policy update was June 2021. But when we move forward,
No, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. I think they knew exactly what they meant to do. They knew their batteries were shit. That was on purpose, I think. I'll bet none of their batteries hold up to 80% on their charge.
Forward to November 2023, the policy has been amended.
And not in the right way either.
It
It's
now
still
adds
less
an extra
than.
clause stating that if a battery is inside an engine bay, i.e. under a bonnet, it's now only defective if it delivers less than 70%. But the last updated date still
And it's still less than instead of more than.
says June 2021. So what happened in between March and November of 2023? Well, in Stefan's video released in August 2023, he stated this.
So if you have a set of DCS batteries under the bonnet, I would strongly suggest you do a proper capacity test. Please note, looking at the state of charge on the app does not work. That will not show you what is truly going on. So get the batteries pulled out. Either get someone professional.
Is that why they gave it the Bluetooth? So that way it could actually trick people to say the charge is higher? Oh, that's nasty.
To do a capacity test, or you can also purchase capacity testers we found quite accurate on eBay or similar marketplaces.
Stefan told people who own DCS batteries under their bonnet to do a capacity test, because there is a good chance they have degraded. And it seems as though in response to this, DCS changed their warranty and lowered the allowed capacity, knowing they were about to get flooded with claims for defective batteries. However, it's obviously misleading and illegal to do so without changing the last updated date and notifying customers, as customers who bought batteries after late 2021 will think their defective batteries weren't covered by warranty, when they really were.
These scumbags changed the warranty policy on their website.
Ooh, Louis Rossman did this?
Meaning that if you had purchased this battery in March of 2023, you purchased that battery with a blanket warranty if your capacity drops below 80%. If you had never clicked on the warranty terms of service and you had an issue with your battery in December of 2023, you would not know that your battery was covered under an 80% warranty. You would think, wrongfully so, that
To be fair, it does say less than 80 on the paper. I know we want to assume it's meant to be more. I think it was done on purpose. They know what they got, and they are saying, hey, if it does less than 80%, hey, it's doing what it's supposed to. Why are you sending it back?
battery was only covered under a 70% warranty.
And DCS have gone to great lengths to try and cover
Although that makes it even dumber that they updated it with the same thing for the 70%er.
up the fact that they have done this. In Stefan's second video about DCS's shady practices in December of 2023, he actually mentions the fact that DCS secretly updated their warranty after his first video.
I've recently also become aware that DCS has discreetly modified their warranty terms without clearly marking the date of these changes. The only source for DCS's terms is their website, as they don't provide a user manual or terms and conditions with their products. Although the DCS website indicates the latest update was on June 14, 2021, they have actually reduced their capacity warranty from 80 to 70%, sometimes between March and November 2023, without any notification on their site. Thankfully, tools like the Wayback Machine allow us to view past versions of websites.
You'll notice that Stefan cites the Wayback Machine to confirm that the policy was changed.
Although I don't think the Wayback Machine actually counts in legality, unfortunately, from what I've seen of things. If it does, please let me know, because I want to know for sure if it does. But since it's technically a third-party thing, and it's not like... I don't think it's been legally acceptable yet to use the Wayback Machine as a real evidence of that. Although it's a very good one if they do.
And from screenshots and video of the Wayback Machine of the DCS website from 2023, we can see that it had indeed archived the website plenty of times over the years. However, if you check the Wayback Machine today, all archives of the DCS website before 2024 have been completely removed. Any evidence of the site's existence pre-2024 has been destroyed. And the only person who can have an archive of a website removed from the Wayback Machine is the owner of that website, which means that Paul would have had to have specifically demanded that archive.org remove its archives of his website personally. And the reason he might do this is obviously to hide the fact that DCS secretly updated its warranty policy.
The guy's as devious as frickin' Scooby-Doo. He cannot get anything right.
Thankfully, the Wayback Machine isn't the only entity that archives pages, and Australia has its own dedicated archive that has captured many old DCS snapshots over the years.
Oh, hello.
Which proves
Now, this is probably going to be the one that would definitely stand out in court.
that DCS did in fact change their warranty in 2023. And the worst part of all of this is that despite the fact that we can literally see right now that the warranty was changed in late 2023,
Still says less than 80 instead of more than 80, but hey.
this is one of the things that DCS sued Stefan for saying. And in their lawsuit against Stefan, DCS also provided false information in their complaint, claiming that their warranty regarding batteries under the bonnet was implemented in 2021. They also claimed that their warranty was always public, and therefore any adjustments could not have been made sneakily. And now you know why they went to such great lengths to scrub any existence of their website from the Wayback Machine. I could go on all day listing the outrageous lies they have spouted both publicly and in their lawsuit against Stefan Fischer, but I think you're starting to get the idea. So now it's time to move on to something a bit more serious. Yes, DCS lies and threatens innocent.
The lady doth protest too much. You're doing way too much. When you do so much, you draw so much attention to yourself. You are a beacon of, I'm doing something shady.
People, and yes, their batteries are terrible. But are their batteries dangerous? Well, let's find out.
I mean, we saw the wiring on the inside. One crossed wire and one damaged spark. That thing could set things alight. Lithium batteries are no joke when they set on fire. Also, you can't set them off with water because I believe lithium reacts with water, doesn't it?
In Stefan's video released in December 2023, he included a clip from someone who had purchased a DCS
Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I could have sworn lithium was highly reactive with water.
battery and claimed that it had exploded while sitting on a shelf, still in its original packaging.
I was going to be fitting it next weekend into my brother-in-law's vehicle, and we opened it up and that's what I saw.
It has a big old freaking hole in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have just been blowtorched, I suppose, but...
Yeah. So that's that, and it was sitting in the box like this, right? And then
So that happened then here on the bench, or?
underneath, it was just sitting underneath the bench. That's exploded out, and it tore the box down the bottom of the box.
Okay, so this was theirs. I thought a customer sent it to them.
It's there as well.
It appears as though one of the cells inside the battery had experienced thermal runaway, which is a process where some
Dang.
kind of fault causes the battery to continuously get hotter and hotter until it catches fire or explodes.
That's not
Fortunately, in
good.
this case, the battery was not in use and no one was nearby.
This time...
Unfortunately, a man by the
Oh no. Oh no, I don't like the way this picture is presenting to us.
name of Stephen Richardson was not so lucky. In August of 2023, he was driving his pride and joy, a Holden VF Redline with his 7
Please tell me everybody is alright.
year-old son in the back seat.
Oh,
when, according
no.
to Stephen, the DCS battery he had installed exploded. And when I say
Oh no!
exploded, I really mean exploded. The entire back of the car instantly became engulfed in flames.
The kid was in the back seat!
Thankfully, he was able to quickly pull his son out from
Okay,
the
thank
car
God. Thank God. Oh shh.
before serious injuries were
DCS would have been so screwed if something happened to that kid.
sustained.
They're already pretty darn screwed, but they would have been... Oh no, there would not been any... Oh, shoot, no.
But
Also, I love the license plate, no lag. It must be a gamer.
Stephen's $100,000 car was completely destroyed.
Or it was a gamer.
After the incident, Stephen contacted DCS to explain what happened. But according to Paul Tomolowitz, it was literally impossible for the battery to have exploded or caught fire.
It's impossible for you have seen graphite outside of the core, Herr Chairman.
Apparently, DCS batteries are completely fireproof and cannot catch fire or explode because they are designed so well. And the fire was probably
Yeah, said the Russians about Chernobyl.
caused by a loose wire in the car's audio system. However, pictures of the battery after the fire tell a different story. You can see that
Jesus.
the battery exploded with such force that the top metal bracket is bent upwards at a 45-degree angle.
How old is this picture? There's cobwebs all over it, though.
And the cells underneath have been completely
Then again, it is Australia. It doesn't take long for big old spiders to start getting to work, does it?
obliterated. The only thing that could cause this kind of extreme bending is a tremendous upwards explosive force.
Yeah, that's straight up explosive right there.
Now, despite Mr. Tomolowitz claiming that it's physically impossible for his battery to be the cause of the fire or to have exploded, he told Stephen that DCS would get the battery assessed if he sent it to them.
Oh, how is he supposed to do that?
In an email to Stephen, Paul stated, "Hi Stephen, we have received your parcel. It has been forwarded to the port of Brisbane for export back
Wait, he actually has sent it?
to our factory. Once it's received in Feb, it will then be forwarded to our international
How in the world did he get it sent it? It was like blown to pieces. Did he collect it all up or something?
technical commission partners so they can assess it." Now remember back at the beginning of the video I explained that Paul had been telling customers that he had a factory in China and had to admit in court that this was just a complete lie?
You represent to the public that DCS has a factory in China, in Shenzhen. You wrote that.
That our batteries at one time were manufactured in China.
Our factory.
Yeah, but we don't own it. So again, in reference to our supplier.
It's the royal hour, you see.
Well, this is just another example of Paul doing exactly that. The entire story about sending the
That's about as bad as Subway saying their footlongs are just a technical term and do not necessarily have to be a footlong.
battery to their factory in China and then getting it sent to the IEC is complete nonsense and never happened. After months of Stephen trying desperately to get information about where his battery went, a lawyer for DCS eventually told Stephen that the battery couldn't be tested, that it was currently in a warehouse in Shenzhen, China, and that DCS would not be able to send it back.
Gee, I wonder why!
And the icing on the cake is that DCS also threatened to sue Stephen as well, because Stephen had left an online review explaining that his DCS battery had exploded, with DCS's lawyers stating, "My client intends to hand this matter over to his litigation team with instructions to issue you with a concerns notice and possibly commence legal proceedings against you." There are so many things about this story that are just pure evil that it boggles the mind.
This is legit an evil company. Holy cow. What is this guy's problem? He almost gets a kid killed, and this is his damn response? Oh
What
my
it appears
god.
to me is that DCS lied to Stephen in order to take away the battery, and then send it to some random warehouse in China where they claim they can't get it back. They effectively confiscated the evidence so that Stephen couldn't send it to an actual forensic expert, which
Well, guess what? We have photographic evidence, and if you can't give technical evidence, guess which one wins?
would likely confirm that the battery did indeed explode. And all the while, DCS was threatening to sue
I don't even know what kind of tests they could possibly perform. It's clearly a lie.
Stephen because he had the audacity to write a review explaining what happened. As you can see, DCS loved to threaten people with lawsuits in order to try and shut them up. But now it seems like DCS is getting a taste of their own medicine.
See, here's also the thing. When you send lawsuits to people, you risk them actually saying, "Bring it on, liar!"
In February 2024, a couple in Queensland, Australia filed a lawsuit against a company called SPS Energy. SPS Energy is an installer of solar power systems, and in June of 2021, a fire occurred at a property which resulted in over $500,000 in damages. According
Shit!
to the owners of the property, the fire was caused by a faulty solar power battery which was installed by SPS Energy. In
I wonder where this SPS operator's from.
their complaint against SPS Energy, it states that the solar panel system was inspected by a consultant fire investigator who concluded that the cause of the fire was a failure of the batteries or poor installation of the batteries. Where things get interesting is that just after the lawsuit was filed against SPS Energy filed a third-party notice to Deep Cycle Systems Proprietary Limited. A third-party notice is essentially the same as the defendant suing a third party for the same thing that they are being sued for. In other words, the owners of the property that got destroyed have sued SPS Energy because it installed the solar power system. But now SPS Energy is suing Deep Cycle Systems because it's claiming that DCS and their batteries are responsible for the fire. In the claim against DCS, SPS Energy states that they purchased the batteries from Deep Cycle Systems. They also claim they are not liable because DCS was the manufacturer of the batteries. And an important thing to note here is that even if DCS were just lying and didn't actually manufacture the batteries, merely presenting yourself to the public as the manufacturer is sufficient for you to be held liable as one.
I mean, makes sense to me.
Now, it's when we read DCS's defense of this new lawsuit that the dishonesty of the company truly shines. In its defense,
Oh, you mean that we haven't already?
which is a real legal document that was submitted to the court, DCS states. The third party, i.e. DCS, admits it imports the batteries into Australia, admits it permits the name or brand by which it carries on business to be applied to the batteries, and that it otherwise denies the matters alleged in paragraph 7, as the batteries are not produced or assembled by the third party, and it does not hold itself out as manufacturer of the batteries.
Even though you say it right on your website that you are the manufacturer, therefore, liable.
Oh my lord. Let's for a moment forget the fact that on its website and all of its social media accounts, DCS does indeed hold itself out to be the manufacturer of the batteries. In the lawsuit it filed against Stefan Fischer, the very first fact outlined stated that 1. The plaintiff is, and was at all material times, a lithium battery manufacturer. So when DCS wants to sue an innocent YouTuber, they say in their court filings that they manufacture batteries.
Oh, more documentation to put you into the grave. Nails into the coffin.
But the moment they get sued themselves, they completely deny manufacturing batteries. Even in court, the
Why you always lying? Always lying. Why you always lying?
lawyer representing DCS in their suit against Stefan stated that DCS manufactures batteries.
Your Honour, the plaintiff is a
You know what? Prove it. Do you really? Where's your factory that you own and operate?
Australian business that manufactures and sells lithium batteries.
This is incredible, and the falsehoods continue, and this one truly bothers me. DCS states, the third party during its business over 12 years has supplied over 50,000 lithium batteries and 500 units of the same type as the battery supplied to the second defendant, and no battery supplied has ever been reported as having caused a fire.
Why do I get the funny feeling that never have been reported is pulling a lot of weight?
Remember Stephen Richardson, the man who reported that his DCS battery exploded and caused his car to erupt in flames with his 7-year-old son in the back seat? The report that DCS was well aware of, and in fact threatened to sue Stephen because of it. This confirms that not only did they steal Stephen's
Please tell me they pulled him into the lawsuit. Please tell me they pulled him in as a witness.
battery and threatened to sue him for reporting that his battery had caused the car to be completely destroyed by fire, but now they're simply lying to the court and saying this never happened. DCS truly is one of the worst companies I've ever seen in Australia, and its owner, Paul Tomolowicz, is one of the most dishonest.
This is one of the worst companies I've seen in the world. Bar none. Holy crap.
People I've ever encountered. And believe it or not, things get even worse.
Oh, how can they get worse than this?
From here.
Did you actually get somebody killed?
Remember how I said at the beginning DCS lost its lawsuit against the YouTuber Stefan Fischer? Well, as a result of this loss, the judge ordered DCS to pay Stefan $130,000 to cover his legal fees.
And we already know they said, we're not going to do that.
Despite this court order, DCS has refused to pay. Normally, I'd say that not paying a judgment debt might be due to lack of funds or insolvency. But in this particular case, we actually have evidence that shows this is not the case. As part of the legal proceedings, DCS provided their financials, and according to their balance sheet as of June 2024, not only were DCS holding on to $500,000 in cash, but it also held over $1 million in the form of director loans to its director, Paul Tomolowicz.
Director loans, you say?
A director loan is when a company's director pulls cash out of the company and loans it to themselves. A director loan is an asset, which means that in the case of insolvency, these loans are recoverable immediately. So that's around $1.7 million in cash that DCS has on its balance sheet. So it's safe to say that DCS isn't refusing to pay because they can't, but rather because they don't want to. In light of DCS not paying, Stefan has already started taking the necessary steps to force DCS into paying their debt. This will involve going back to court, having DCS declared insolvent, and
Did he lose some weight from his last video?
appointing a liquidator to sell and confiscate assets. Unfortunately, these steps require some upfront costs, which is where Stefan needs our help. Stefan has a GoFundMe which he has been relying upon throughout
Here's a call of action duty thing. Sometimes he'll do this.
the entire process, and he only needs an extra 20,000 Australian dollars to reach his goal. This isn't very much, it's just under 15,000 USD. And as I pointed out at the beginning of the video, Stefan needs this money more than ever as his daughter was recently diagnosed with cancer and needs chemotherapy. So this has put Stefan under a very real financial burden.
Early in the process, I made DCS a settlement offer that was substantially cheaper than the cost the court ultimately ordered them to pay. They could have resolved these sooner and for way less. They chose not to. On a personal note, some of you already know this, but my 16-year-old daughter was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma
That's just so freaking sad,
about a
man.
month ago, and is currently under
All they had to do was pay the money, and this probably would have gone away, too. Like, the lawsuit was really bad. It really was. But every little thing is just adding up, and now it is now full-on public to everybody.
undergoing cancer treatment. That is where my focus needs to be right now. This legal matter is the last thing I want to be dealing with. DCS had every opportunity to resolve these and for both parties to move on with life. They could have paid the judgment, they could have accepted the settlement offer, and each time they chose not to. Despite everything going on with my family, I will not walk away. DCS puts me through 2 years of hell, and I intend to see it through to the end. I can't thank all of you enough for all of your support.
Please
That's pretty darn brave of him, but I just really hope that things work out.
go and
'cause
support his GoFundMe, or at the very least, spread the word. He really does need our help. What's ironic is that before Deep Cycle Systems decided to sue an innocent YouTuber, I never even knew they existed. It was purely
Right? Big time Streisand effect.
because they decided to sue a relatively small YouTuber who gave them a bad review and lost that I decided to look into their company.
This is why you don't punch down. Because when you punch down, the person below cries. When they cry, everybody around gets the attention drawn to the crying child, basically. And therefore, everybody's seeing, hey, who's this jerk that's beating up on this child? It's basically that kind of thing. But, yeah, basically, you just lit up a beacon of, I'm an asshole!
This is the Streisand effect in full action. Perhaps the funniest thing in all of this, however, is that in August 2024, after everything DCS had done to disrupt and harm others with their lies and threats, they complained in a letter to the Australian government claiming that they were the victims of cyberbullying, with Paul
Sorry, what?
writing, I am the founder-owner of a 9-year-old family business based in Queensland. We make high-quality lithium batteries for a wide range of marine, land, and solar energy
I'm sorry, I am allergic to this level of bullshit.
applications. Our customers range from the Australian Defence Force and the New South Wales Ambulance Service to
I hope the Australian Defence Force takes a look at all their frickin' batteries now.
caravan and RV owners across
And the ambulance. Oh man, I am terrified for their emergency services if they're using these batteries. They need to double check all their batteries ASAP.
Australia. This is terrifying. Of course, we know that Paul is a liar, so his claims of providing batteries to the Defence Force and the ambulance service could be completely fabricated.
And I'm praying they are.
But if it isn't, and he actually did convince them into buying his products, this is a very scary thought. Paul goes on in his letter to the government. Despite our longevity and deep customer base, we are currently the target of an orchestrated cyberbullying attack via YouTube since September 2023.
Really?
Bullying is based on one person's opinion and supported by a group of online followers. The bullying is being used to discredit the quality of our products, pressure our supporters, and spread misinformation about our brand across the internet. But all that was really going on is that DCS was receiving public backlash for suing an innocent person, for selling crappy batteries at insanely high prices, and for constantly lying about everything the company was doing.
You have sued this man for defamation. You are going after him because you believe that he does not have the resources to defend himself. Guess what? I do. I am not afraid of bullies, and I never will be. You are in the wrong. You are claiming that this person has committed defamation, and you are trying to get him to take his videos off of YouTube that rightly criticize your products claim, and your company. You are claiming defamation while simultaneously misleading your customers.
I truly hope DCS is investigated for their dishonest practices. Once again, please go and support Stefan Fischer. His GoFundMe is linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't believe wow. I hate this company. Holy crap. Like, there's a lot of bad companies. This is definitely one of the worst ever. Like there's companies that by their mere business model, they do horrible things. Those ones still take the cake above this guy. But for behind the scenes actions and everything and legality stuff and bullying, this group is one of the worst. Oh my god. This is horrible. Well, I hope this guy gets what's coming to him. That's all I can say. But I thank you very much for watching this with me. If you enjoyed, please do leave a like. If you didn't, go ahead and leave a dislike. If there's anything that you want to comment on or want me to react towards, please put it in the comments. And please, if there's anything you want to say about this company, please let me know too. Because I got a lot of things I want to say. And please do subscribe to follow along with more of my reactions and Let's Plays. Y'all have a good one, and be sure to live life to the max. And I'm out.